Hi everyone. As you can see, foundations have gone off nicely. It's actually been a couple of weeks since we filmed the pouring of that because I've been ill, had some work on, things like that. So we are kind of playing catch up now. We want to start laying out the string lines and getting some blocks kind of temporarily placed so we can work out ideally where the steps would start, and we want to kind of try and do things with as fewer cuts as possible. So if we can shift the steps back or forwards a little bit so that we're on like a half block, that's the plan there. So on this video, we're going to string out, we're going to get the blocks laid out where we think they're going to go, and hopefully get the drain pipe down the back and get that all leveled, well not leveled, sloped from the far end all the way down to this end so that any rainwater that makes it into that pipe can find its way out. So we're going to go and grab the pipe in a second and lay that out in the sun because it's been curled up forever. So it needs to just sort of warm up and straighten a bit and make it easier to work with later. So we're going to go and do that, and then we're going to come down, lay out some blocks where we think the ideal placement's going to be, and we'll go from there. Right, just before I go and grab the drain pipe while we're standing here, and you might be able to make out the string. Let's put the old camera down. I've wrapped it around this whole block and it goes all the way up and around the whole block there, so I've got a string line on either side of the block. And it's just really handy for being able to square it off because you could see where the string did or didn't touch, so it means that we were able to level these and get a perfect line all the way. And then I'm going to basically sit blocks inside the string line all the way along so that I can work out, I mean this is a really roundabout way of doing it, but it's so I can work out where the high spots are, which I know are going to be just here, but I want to also work out exactly where the holes in these blocks are so I can spray and then drill. Also there'll be one bit of rebar per block. I think that might be overkill. We might go a little bit every other block, might make more sense. And we're also going to lay, like after 2 rows, we're going to lay a piece of rebar all the way along. So there's going to be a lot of support in there, should do the job. But again, if you know better than me, please comment on this video and just say, don't do that. Because you'll see this video before I'm finished, what I'm doing right now. So any advice would be very, very useful. So if you're thinking, no, you do not need that much rebar, or you need way more rebar than that, let me know. I'm going to be drilling down at least 6 inches to 6 to 12 inches to resin bond the rebar into the concrete. And again, too much, too little. It'd be great to get some feedback from people who know better than me. But yeah, let's go find that drainage pipe. Just making my way up the hill to where the drainage pipe is, and you can see here so this has been about 5 or 6 weeks now since we had the digger in to do all that work, and you can see the brambles. This is how long it takes them to start coming back again. So now that I can see where these are, what I'll do one night this week, you can see some slightly bigger ones here where they haven't been mowed for a little while now, but I can now come out and dig each of these up, which is much, much easier than trying to do it when they're sort of sticks or, sticking out the ground a little bit. Like this one here, you can see hasn't grown back at all. That one, it might yet, so I'll probably pull it out anyway, but it helps me to see exactly where these are. And for the sake of an hour or two out here, one evening this week, just rooting these out, it's going to save me a huge amount of work down the line, cutting it all back again like we did in one of the first videos where we had to make that huge pile. This huge pile was earmarked for burning, as we said in a couple of other videos, but we are now under a kind of nationwide wildfire warning because there's been so many heat waves and so little rain this year. So cannot burn anything. We've been getting rid of it a bin load at a time every fortnight, which does not make a big difference, but we'll see. If we still have some left when the bans are lifted and autumn sets in, then we'll burn it then. We have a pile over here waiting to burn anyway, so I imagine that'll be what will happen. The plan now, because we are kind of trying to prioritize things, we want to try and finish everything at once, which just isn't possible. You can see this huge amount of rock, that huge amount of rock, but we've got our width. This rock here is kind of where I want the wall to be, so I've placed that one there so we can get an idea of our width. So what I want to do now is come through here, just carefully clear these big rocks out the way, just throw them up there for now. And we're going to unroll a big old membrane, and we're just going to cover all of this. We'll work our way around the edge and just manually weed out all these little brambles, stalks that are poking out. That isn't a huge job. And just put a load of rocks on it to hold it down so it doesn't blow away. And then at some point, probably in the winter, we will be able to take that back, level things out, get this bit finished off and looking right. So when spring comes next year, it's looking great. And today we actually put a deposit down on a huge olive tree. The plan being at the moment that olive tree will go here. It's going to be, the hole for it is going to be, I think it's something like 80 or 90 centimeters diameter and down. So we're gonna have to dig another big hole here by hand because we're not getting the digger for that. And then hopefully we can get the someone with a telehandler to help us get this pot up here and in the ground. So it's going to mean we need to clear all that rock, which means we need to build that wall. So there's a lot of things we got to do just to get the olive in. I probably shouldn't have put a deposit on it, should I? Oh dear. It's going to look great when it's finished though, right? Another little interlude for anyone that is wondering where the name of the channel came from. Brambles, where the name of the channel came from. This patch of brambles here, I cleared that maybe 4 months ago, completely cleared it the whole way. And you can see there's a lot of nettle come through, and it was 3-4 times the height, like you couldn't see over it. But I cleared that, and now I've got to clear it again. And look at some of these tendrils, or whatever you call them. Look how long they are. And if you don't catch those in time, what they do is, these fresh green looking bits, they wiggle their way into the ground and they root, and you get a fresh stem. So we can probably see some that I've missed. You got another one there. They work their way into the ground, make a fresh stem, and then that shoots off again. That's how they kind of travel across the ground. Anyway, hopefully by the end of this week, this I think is actually a couple of smaller pieces. It's not one big piece, but hopefully by the end of the week, this will be behind the wall and ready to get some pea gravel on top of. Let's see what we can find. Oh, it might be one big piece actually. That would be really handy. Oh yeah, that's long enough. I was a bit worried we didn't have enough. So let's lay that out, and we've got another piece here, which is probably too small. So this actually has a connector, which you probably can't see from here. This has got a connector on it to attach two pieces together. So it is probably not long enough, but I reckon we'll cut this longer one to length, take exactly what we need, and then later we can use that connector to do the other bits for another job. So we got our pipe laid out in the sun, which has just come out. And now I'm just going to set up a time lapse while I lay all these blocks out and do a really amateur job of working out how many blocks and where they're going to go and where I need to drill for my rebar. And I'm going to get everything lined up, get some spray paint on the floor so I can put things back where they came from. And you can all laugh at me in the comments for how amateur it is. Please do. A bit of engagement might help the channel. Like and subscribe. Okay, this is going to be us done for today because it's getting on a bit. Not as much progress as I'd hoped, but we have our line. I'll probably bring that block just 6 inches closer and end the wall a little bit sooner, and that saves us cutting on every single row. And you can see there's a half block here missing, but what I'm going to do is shuffle these blocks forwards, that block over, it's a bit of a Tetris, and put another block, full block in there, so that the bottom 2 steps have got more of a secure base, and again it will save any cuts there. But yeah, pretty pleased with that. So we get an idea now, that will be our profile. The wall is going to come up, so we'll probably not stack anymore at this point because it's all more to move the more we put down. But I can basically spray paint a green line all the way along, so I know exactly where I want them to be, so when the string lines move I can come back to it. And then I think we will go 3 bits of rebar in that corner, so it's a really strong corner, and then every meter we'll do rebar in the ground all the way along, and we'll do the corners of this, obviously one in the middle, Should make it nice and secure, and then we'll do 2 runs of block, and then we'll do the a line of rebar running all the way along, and then we'll do more block on top of that. There's supposed to have channels, but they're basically full, so we'll have to grind out some channels on these blocks to make them actually usable. And you can see our nice little maker's mark will survive, but it'll be under gravel. The gravel will end up coming up another couple of inches from where we are here, so it'll be nice and buried. You won't know there's anything there. And this becomes our first step. So we've gone for a 1.5 block width step, which is nice and wide. I'm a big guy. It's wide enough for me. So it should be wide enough for everyone else. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put some blocks along the wall here just to get an idea of how many steps and what the final height is. So we'll end up coming up to 4 blocks. Yeah, I think it's all right. It's big, but when you actually see it in the scope of the whole garden, it's there, and it's not going to be as high. It's going to be there. It's not going to be up here as it would have been. It will be about there, and then we'll have a nice fence that will blend it around the back of the house. I think that blend is going to work a lot better. But yeah, we're going to leave this one here for now, and hopefully you like how it's coming together. Like and subscribe, be a massive, massive help. We're a few videos in now. We get 100 or so views on a video, which is really good because we're brand new and no one knows who we are. But we only about 10 or 20% of the people watching the videos are subscribed. It would be really great if you've got this far to just hit subscribe as well. And hopefully that will just help to push it out more and more. And if you guys have anything you think are wrong with these videos, I really would genuinely appreciate constructive feedback. Like, am I too talky? Am I too waffly? Is it not interesting enough? What would you like to see me do? Like, what steps am I missing out, or am I showing too much of certain things, not enough of others? All that sort of jazz. Drop a comment below, because you know, if you can help us to tweak the channel and make it more interesting, it can only be a good thing. So yeah, that'd be great. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next week.